Welcome to Easy Math TV. We're going to learn about compound interest today, um, and we're going to be using a built-in function in Microsoft Excel, which is also in other spreadsheet applications as well. So let's get right into it. So basically, this is more on the time value of money, and we're going to be calculating different kinds of compound interest. So basically, the future value of an account where you have a fixed interest rate. So notice over here in column A, we have our given interest rate is typed in there. Column B is our present value, so that's going to be just the initial deposit that we're putting in. And then T is time in years again. So basically, those three numbers have to be provided by the problem or by us. And then we're going to be using Excel, or we're going to be using our spreadsheet as a calculator tool. So we're going to be able to calculate what the future value is given any kind of compounding periods. So basically, no matter what it is, no matter what the problem is asking for, we will be able to answer the question. So let's just talk a little bit about this built-in function. So built-in functions in Excel always include parameters or arguments that you need to put and separate by commas inside the parentheses. So the formula we're going to be using is called the future value formula, which is capital F, capital V. And then inside the parentheses, the spreadsheet is expecting these 5 different things provided to it. Um, the things that are kind of non-negotiable are the rate and the number of periods. Um, and then you have to either provide it the regular payment, so you're either making regular payments, that's PMT for regular payments, or you have an account that has basically just a present value, like a deposit that you're making, and that's just going to be accumulating interest over time. So you at least need to have one of those two things. And then there's this thing called type, and we're just going to be basically leaving that blank. I don't even want to explain what that is because it would take too long to explain. So the two things we're going to be leaving blank are the regular payments, because we're not making regular payments. So that's the PMT. And then the type is also something that we're going to leave blank. But we still will need to include these commas. So what you will see up above when we look at these calculations, we're going to be following this pattern of using the function as as if we know what the interest rate is. So the interest rate is just going to be the number in A4 divided by the number of periods, compounding periods per year, and then a comma. And then NPER, that's the number of periods or the number of compounding periods. And that's going to equal our time, which is in C4. So that's our number of years, times, so we have to multiply by the number of periods per year. So basically, if it's monthly, if it's getting compounded monthly, then how many times do you get interest calculated over 10 years? Well, if it's 10 years, then that would be 10 times 12, which is 120 total periods or compounding periods. And then I want you to notice that there are 2 commas here with nothing in between because we're leaving the PMT argument blank. After that, we have our B4, which is that's our present value. And then we have another comma, and we're going to have a closed parenthesis. So that kind of format or that kind of pattern you're going to notice over and over and over again. It's just that the number of periods per year is going to change each time. So we're still going to have the A4, we're still going to have the C4, and we're still going to have the B4 exactly as you expect to see them But we will need to change what we're dividing by for the number of periods per year by the interest. And in this argument over here, where we have the number of periods per year, we're going to take our C4 and multiply by the number of compounding periods per year. Okay? So you're going to see that pattern repeating over and over and over again as we type in our formulas up here into the spreadsheet. So the problem that we're going to solve involves depositing $2,000 in a money market fund, paying 8% interest. And the question is, how much will you have the account after 10 years? And the problem is asking us to use the same interest rate under different interest calculations. So part A is suppose simple interest, part B suppose compound interest that is calculated annually, which would mean that you have one period per year. Quarterly means 4 periods per year. Monthly means 12 periods per year, and daily means 365 periods per year. So let's look at what those look like. Under column D, we have our simple interest calculation, which is equal to B4 plus B4 times A4 times C4. We've seen that before. We've seen simple interest calculations before, so that is the value in our account at the end of 10 years. If we're compounding annually, we're going to see, and we need to put a negative sign, by the way, in front of our FV calculation. It's too complicated to go into why, but because Excel is treating it as if you're going backwards instead of going forwards, we need to put a negative sign. So equals negative FV parenthesis A4 comma C4 comma B4 comma parenthesis. So exactly what you see there is what we need to type in under our compound interest that is compounded annually or once per year. Under the column F, we're going to see what that looks like if we're compounding 4 times per year. So that would be equals negative FV parenthesis A4 divided by 4 comma C4 times 4 comma B4 comma parenthesis, close parenthesis. Under column G, we're going to calculate this using the same built-in function. We're going to calculate if the compounding is happening 12 times per year or monthly. So this is monthly compounding. So we have negative FV parenthesis A4 divided by 12 comma C4 times 12 comma B4 comma close parenthesis. And that's in column G. In column H, we're going to see what that formula looks like if we are compounding daily. So that means 365 times a year. So equals negative FV parenthesis A4 divided by 365 comma C4 times 365 comma B4 comma close parenthesis. Enter. So you can see these are the values on the account 10 years from now. 10 years from now, under simple interest, compounded interest annually, compounded interest quarterly, compounded interest monthly, and compounded interest daily at the same interest rate. So basically, given an interest rate and a principal and time, you can figure out what the future value is at all these different compounded frequencies. So like, subscribe, comment down below. Make sure you share these videos with other people who you think might find them useful if they're taking a business math class and need to be calculating compound interest. And this is basically just future value. So we're going to talk a little bit more about compound interest going forward. But this is just the start. Thank you very much.